You see, we're over here by the mosque, right? This is the Nation of Islam over here, right? Now, I ain't not part of the Nation of Islam, but you did it again, you know what I'm saying? Not directly.
Right.
But the point is that somebody got to tell the little girls, you can't wear that in public.
I think
you can't wear that stuff in public because it sends a message to the young men that this is a young lady who ain't showing a cooch and a boobs, that maybe I should have to show her a little bit more respect. I got to watch it, and maybe a daddy gonna come after me if I make the wrong move.
Like Charlene said though, if you wearing that, first of all, what's going on in your head? Is this the most valuable asset that you want to portray?
For some of them it is.
Unfortunately.
Their body, huh?
It is, because that's all that they know. That's all that they've been taught.
But where did they get that from? Their mama?
Yes, most.
Not from their daddy.
You'll be surprised.
I think you can exclude
I see some of the mothers, like when my daughter was little, I didn't buy back outs, halter things.
No.
And now, as a young woman, she respectfully dresses in a respectful way.
Right.
Not uncovering.
Yeah.
Right.
Which makes her a hot commodity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, your daughter, I met her once time. When I met your kids, let me a little aside. I met your children, both of your children, one time, and I was blown away because I said, here's a black woman know how to raise her children.
No, you know what?
You know what I'm saying?
Her children remind me of yours.
You ain't seen man. You saw them, they were little young. They were young though. They were little. I'm sorry.
Bottom line, very respectful, nerdy, because we got to make nerdy acceptable. Ain't nothing wrong with
if you saw my children, man, they are fish out of water, man. You wouldn't believe they raised in the hood, man.
That's good.
And that's what it should be.
That's good.
You should not know where you were raised, and it should not make a difference because we should always be setting standards.
But we think if you raise your children, especially a boy and your girl, but you raise them a certain way, they say that's not authentically black.
Right.
They got to talk a certain way.
What is authentically black?
Them doing poorly in school, talking a certain way, being only in the rap, don't listen to other music other than hip hop.
Well, that's the male part where I got to be tough.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got to represent. I got to be a thug.
You got to be hard.
I mean? So when I think about Tyler, Tyrus.
Tyrus who? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. This young man, yeah.
He's not going to be out there fronting and pretending to be something that he's not. Why? Number one, because his mom.
Right.
And then two, I'm sure definitely, because I couldn't speak from the father's side, but he has a father in his life. So he got a balanced approach to make sure he stays
But
on
even
track.
if the daddy's not there, there's plenty of decent men that can show you the way.
Decent men, and then and my children's like their dad is active in their lives, and he does make sure that they're not doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and have a certain amount of respect for themselves and for others as well. And so we have to. It's our job to teach them those things, enforce those rules, and make sure that they're doing what they need to do. They don't have to be, I always tell my children, dare to be different. You don't have to be just like everybody else out here that's doing who knows what, you know, and that's what I try to tell these young girls, that this is something that they have to do for themselves, because nobody's going to do it for you. If you don't have an example, maybe your mother can't show you because she doesn't know how.
Right.
But you can stop it. You don't have to keep that family thing going. I went to an event on the west side of Chicago a few days ago, and one of the young girls approached me after I got through speaking and said to me, she was like, Miss Davis, she was like, I'm going to school. She was like, I refuse to be like my family.
Wow.
Excellent.
And so she's going back to school. She was 27 years old. She was working on, I think, her second master's.
Wow.
And I said to her, I said, if you just keep on pushing and don't allow anybody or anything to interfere what it is that you want to do in life, I said, then you'll move forward and you'll do well. And she said, I'm not. She had children, but she's a mother, a young mother, doing well. So, I mean, we do have something.
I know you want to chime in, but Syron, but I got to ask Charlene this. I've met so many men who did not have a relationship or wasn't a participant or participating in their child's development because the mamas and the grandmamas did not allow the baby's daddy to participate in the upbringing of their children. What's wrong with you women? How come they just cut the man? I don't want the boy around. I don't want the man around. So for 15, 20 years, they don't want the man around.
And I understand that because I come from a household where that was happening. And I say that for me, I made a conscious decision that wouldn't be the norm. Just because their dad and I didn't work out doesn't mean that he shouldn't be a part of their lives. I don't have a right to say that. And I think that when I hear women saying, you know, oh, he's not going to do this. First of all, ladies, he tells you what he's not going to do. So if he was being a jerk and he was not coming around, he was doing this at certain times and this time and that, sweetie, you were never his number one in the first place. So you got pregnant, okay? Did you think that was going to change? No, it's not going to change. If he didn't find you attractive enough or alluring enough to put a ring on your finger before he produced those babies, then you know what? This is what we're left with. We are left with, okay, he's not coming by, he's not taking care of the children. He's not taking care of, he wasn't taking care of you, he wasn't doing anything for you. Right. Oh yeah, he threw you a couple of dollars for your nails and your feet done, but guess what? You rewarded him with sex.
Yeah.
So that was the reward. So, you know, you were, you might not have been a prostitute, but it's a form of it. He paid for it. So therefore, when you got pregnant and he told you it's not mine, you shouldn't be surprised, because this is how he was seeing you in the first place. He didn't want you to be baby mama or whatever. And first of all, I don't like that title, baby mama. I'm not nobody's baby mama. I was never a baby mama. I was a wife. And a mother. And so therefore, my children are not considered baby mama, and he's not considered a baby daddy. I consider him the father of my children. And so when we look at these things, women, you all need to open your eyes and see that men don't hide it. They tell you up front what they're gonna do. So if he's not doing it, then you already know. Why go get pregnant? That is not going to keep him.
But we all been young and dumb. You know, we all, when we young, you know, you remember when we were teenagers, how young and dumb we were? And so how do since we're a lot older than being a teenager now, how do we impress upon these young people some wisdom so you don't make the same mistakes? I hate to say mistakes, you know what I'm saying?
When I was a teenager, I was dating this guy. I broke up with him because I told him he didn't seem to have no future.
Ooh.
And how I looked at him was because he had a son, and I saw him not doing for his son and wanting to do things for me. I said, how can you do things for me and you're not doing anything for your son? So I stood on those values a long time ago. So when
you weren't young and dumb?
No, I wasn't young and dumb.
I was.
I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't do some stupid stuff. No, I'm not saying that. I wasn't no perfect person by no stretch of imagination. Heck, I still do stupid things. However, I understand that there are consequences and repercussions behind every action, whether good or bad. It's whatever harvest I want to reap. So in the end, if I want a good man, then I have to show myself to be a good woman. Okay,
I got to bring Syron back. I got to ask you, since you're a woman, Charlene, why don't these young girls and some of these older girls tell these young men to pull up their pants? Because I was watching these young girls today. I was out here on the race scene, 7th race scene, and this young man, he had, you know, he all buffed up, all muscular guy, 20 years old, and then he had his pants halfway down, walking down the street, and the young teenage girl said, hey baby, that look good. So why do the young girl, I don't care if it looks good, why don't they tell the young man, I know you looking good, but you need to pull your pants up?
Well, that's because guys my age are wearing their pants sagging.
Yeah, but why aren't the women
my age are accepting it?
For real?
So yes. I don't like saggers. If a man
but it's
is
just
sagging,
it's a matter of respect. I know you want to show your body, but the point is that don't show your drawers. Come on.
Now listen what Charlene said.
Not clean.
Go ahead, repeat it then.
Even if they was clean, it's about a self-respect.
Right, respect.
So if it's guys my age who are sagging, they're teaching these young guys to sag. It's okay, yeah. And then you have these women my age accepting.
Yeah, why don't they tell the men pull your pants up?
Desperation.
You know, that's what I'm saying. There's the women that are left with these black women are left with few choices because either they're gay or they're in jail or just plain old don't want to be around.
So they accept it. I see how these young men talk to these women, talk to young girls. They talk to them like they sluts or whores or prostitutes, and these girls are listening. They like, yeah, baby, we gonna do this. Well, you know, it's going on. I mean, you don't talk to a girl like that.
But look, it's everything.
I'm old school. I'm sorry.
Example.
I'm old school.
That's true. Everything is learned by example, and I'm gonna tell you, every child desires discipline from their parents, and whatever they see, that's what they're going to emulate. I went to do a mentoring session, and the young man said to me, he was like, Miss Davis, I'm gonna move out of my mama's house. When he said, I'm gonna move out of my mama's house, and I said to him, I said, really? I said, you gonna have a job and you're gonna be able to support yourself? He said, me and my girlfriend. I said, you and your girlfriend. Now this is a 6th grade class, so he's 11 years old.
Jesus.
And he says to me, well, yeah, he said, but when we move out, I said, when you move out, what are you gonna do? You gonna have a job to support your girlfriend and everything? He said, she gonna work.
Already. 6th grade.
Why did he say that?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know why he felt comfortable with saying that she's going to work. And I said, he said, I can't move out of my mama's house right now because my mama's gonna be upset.
Yeah.
He said, but when I turn 18, I'm moving out and my girlfriend's gonna work.
Yeah, buddy.
It's that serious. I mean,
these women are so.
Charlene said,
go ahead.
Dare to be different. We gotta push that message. We don't have to all do what everyone else is doing.
Right.
When I see a grown man sagging, I think about you are a follower. You saw someone else doing it, and now you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? So dare to be different. There's nothing wrong.
But you know, you be talking about this on the phone, Syron. That's some of us. That's all we know is the hood. We spend 52 weekends. A lot of folks don't go out of town on vacation. And forget about the money. That's cheap vacation you can go on to. Why do we spend 52 weekends in Chicago and we wonder why we act ghetto?
Here's the raw reality, because we talk about this. It goes back to values. What's the solution? So we got Wisdom Lives here. We got the village concept. We got to make sure that we have infrastructures, organizations in place that can start teaching and getting our people exposed, developed, and supported. Because we talking about the black woman, it being partially their fault with this murder and whatnot, and how they can stop it. But we got to have Wisdom Lives here ready to help train, teach, and develop them so that they can be strong, successful, and empowered. Because right now, I see the black woman wearing down. They've been carrying the load way too long, and we need them to hold on a little bit longer while we make this final eviction and hold the black man accountable to doing what they're supposed to already be doing. And that goes to the black male pastors too. We got a whole bunch of parishioners in there that's 90% women, and they taking the resources and leaving. So the accountability goes even on that male pastor as well, where we got to be honest and true and say to our black women what they need to be doing so that they can have that support that they rightfully deserve.
You know, in these neighborhoods, you know how I speak on my show every week. It's family. It's schools. Now, people say church, but church is more than entertainment centers these days. What's wrong with the church? I mean, the church can't solve all the problems, but a lot of these pastors don't even live in the neighborhood where the church is at.
But the church is in you, right? I mean,
that's right.
But then again, wait.
The church is in you, but that building that these people go into every weekend, when you drive into those neighborhoods and you are pastoring this congregation, these people, you have a responsibility, and it boils down to the community stepping up and saying, you ain't leaving from over here until we solve this, and you become a part of this. Because these are the issues in the neighborhood.
Yeah, but see, over here, here you go, look over here. I'm standing up. The point is that the church is in the hood, but the pastor lives in Flossmoor, Olympia Fields. What's up with that?
And I understand that, and if we stop the people, the pastors, if they're coming into the neighborhoods and they're pastoring, but they're not doing anything in terms of making a difference in the neighborhoods, then they shouldn't be allowed to preach there. The people in the church have the power to shut it down. And the churches should be the moral fiber. They should be the moral vanguard of our communities. How can the preachers say, baby, stop wearing them hooker clothes. Sons, pull up your pants. How come I know why, I'm just being rhetorical. How come the preachers don't take a moral stand and end this debauchery in our neighborhood?
Now let me say that part of it though, Charlene, if I'm, and not all pastors, but if I've already messed around with 3 women in the congregation already, and the rest of the parishioners know, I can't take a stand, because guess what? If I start taking a stand, you're going to have people saying, you're right, you doing X, Y, and Z.
So the press is corrupt,
I got to stay neutered. I got to stay neutered and not say nothing.
I would say that even to that, they are still human beings. They're still men and women serving.
But you're in leadership, though.
Even if you're in leadership, leaders have flaws. And we need to stop making people feel like if they are a pastor or a teacher or something like that they can't have flaws. They're not perfect people.
But they got to repent. In order to have a justified conversation, you got to repent. Own up to whatever your transgressions is and say, starting now, this is what I'm going to do different. because they haven't repented, other people go look at them and be like, you're right, to whatever they trying to do.
But people are going to do that anyway.
Sure, but valid. It's valid. How can you be leading us and you're not right yourself? At least admit what you go do differently so that you don't continue down the path of sending me into the hole, because that's ultimately what they're doing.
And I understand that, but at some point in time, those women have to take a stand as well.